RV living with pets can be either rewarding or create difficulty for both you and your furry friends, and it all depends on how you prepare and what products you bring along to help make RV living with pets easier. In this video, we're going to talk about traveling with pets and how to make it all work so both you and your furry friends have an enjoyable trip. My name is Charity, and I've been RVing with my family for 5 years, but we also travel with our dog Alaska and our 2 cats, Scrappy and Kit Kat. When we very first started RVing, we were part-time weekenders, and when we would go out in the RV, we would usually bring the dog, but not the cats. When we started traveling full-time, we needed to bring all of the animals with us and into the RV, so everybody started coming along, including both the dog and the cats, the kids, the whole circus. In this video, we're going to share 10 things that we have found to make RVing with pets not only possible, but easier than leaving them at home. So tip number 1 is finding pet-friendly stops. When making stops on travel days, stop at places that have a pet walking area. Now, many rest stops along major interstates have grassy areas for walking pets and are very pet-friendly. And we've also found that many travel center stops, such as a Love's truck stop, are also putting in dog parks. Making several stops, especially if it's a longer travel day, getting out, walking around, makes for a better experience for not only your pet, but gives you some time to stretch and get the blood flowing again, and can make travel days a little bit more enjoyable. So tip number 2 is to check the campground's pet policies before you make a reservation. We have not ever run across a campground yet that doesn't allow pets, period, but that doesn't mean that there could be some out there. Make sure that there are no pet restrictions such as size or breed that may apply to your situation before you book. We have stayed at several campgrounds that do have either size or breed restrictions for dogs, so you want to make sure that the campground that you're wanting to make the reservation at is compatible not only for your RV, but for your furry family. If you have a dog that needs a lot of room to run, check that the RV campground that you are considering at has a pet-friendly area or a dog park where you can let your dog get the exercise that they need. Tip number 3, keep a vaccination record on hand. We've actually heard of campgrounds requiring owners to have this on hand if requested. And in general, it's a good idea to have it on hand in case that you would need boarding or grooming services, vet care, or in other potential scenarios where this would be something that you would be asked for. Tip number 4, use a monitor for RV temperature and power outage. Now, we have a few different ways that we can monitor the temperature of our RV remotely, and depending upon your particular RV setup, there are ways to monitor power usage or power status remotely. We've chosen to use a pet monitor that will let us know the inside temperature of our RV and send us alert if it's higher or lower than the specified range that we have those parameters set at. It also lets us know if there's a power outage in our RV as well. Another thing is if you have pets that struggle with anxiety while you're away, sometimes using a sound machine or white noise machine, leaving on a TV, those types of things can be helpful. So tip number 5 is a foldable or a collapsible kennel. Our dog Alaska is an opportunist of sorts. If we're away from the RV, he will want to get into the trash, or if there's food left out on the table or counters, well, you can just pretty much kiss it goodbye. For some dogs, having a crate inside the RV can be helpful for those times when your furry friend can't come along, but they also can't be trusted inside of the RV unsupervised. Because space is at a premium when you're RVing, having a crate or a kennel that can fold up or collapse down is definitely preferable. Tip number 6, pick up the poo. Make sure you're a responsible pet owner and pick up after your pet. Now, you might just think this is common sense, but we have seen over and over where the poo just isn't picked up when arriving at a campsite. And when you are staying at a campground, remember, someone else is going to have that site when you leave, and the last thing they want is a pile of poo in their RV site. Tip number 7, speaking of picking up the poo, one tool that I personally would not be without is my hands-free leash. One of my morning rituals when we're staying at campgrounds is just a nice morning walk around the campground, and I like to bring my cup of coffee along when walking around the campground. Now, trying to carry my coffee and have a leash in the hand means I would need a third hand when it comes time to pick up the poo. So having a hands-free leash helps me be able to enjoy my coffee, walk the dog, and still have a free hand for whatever I might need it for. Plus, we do use this when needing to take the dog out at a rest stop or on travel days too. Remember, no matter how well your pet is behaved or trained, keeping them on a leash at all times, unless that you're in a dog park or a leash-free area, is really the best idea. And in most cases, all campgrounds will have rules regarding keeping those pets on a leash. Tip number 8. Use a spill-proof water bowl. Now, we use this for both the dogs and the cat, and even on travel days, this design keeps the water in the bowl and not all over the floor. And when you don't have a ton of floor space to begin with, you want to make sure the floor space you do have stays dry and doesn't become a slipping hazard because the pets spilled their water dishing it. Tip number 9 is to use a flea and tick collar or other form of flea or tick treatment. Remember, when you travel from place to place, this means that you're encountering different types of pests, including fleas and ticks. In some areas of the country are definitely worse for these types of pests than others. So you want to make sure that your pet is protected as you travel from area to area. So tip number 10 is emergency vet care or vet care on the road. So take a moment to check out the closest emergency vet so you know where to get help if you need to. VCA or Vet Centers of America, Banfield, which is located inside of PetSmart, or veterinary services at Petco can all be great options for care on the road. These facilities share databases, so if you receive services at one location, this can actually be looked up and referenced at a different location. This can be helpful when you're on the road, knowing that your pet's records are on file with the vet clinic that you're visiting. It's also a good idea to keep a pet first aid kit on hand while traveling. This can help in case of a minor injury that you might be able to take care of yourself without having to seek out that veterinary care. Some other things to think about when you travel with your pets is to really know before you go. So some places like restaurants and hiking trails, public parks are dog and pet friendly. However, some are not. And it's best to do some research before that you go. Many national parks only allow dogs in the visitor center area or in parking lot areas, but not on the trails. You can use the NPS app or the National Park Service app to check rules at national parks for dogs specifically. State parks or other areas can have similar rules. There's a great website called bringfido.com that will help you find dog-friendly locations if you want to bring your dog along with you. For this to be a fun trip for everyone, make sure you pack plenty of treats and toys, and be sure to bring some familiar toys and some new toys to make it an exciting experience for your dog or cats to enjoy. Remember, a lot of praise with your dog for traveling well can go a long way to reinforce that positive behavior, which helps make going on an RV trip a positive experience. If you ask our dog, he wants to go for a ride in the RV. Every single time you ask him if he wants to go, his head perks up, and RV, it's one of his favorite words, right up there with dog park or walk. There are so many benefits of traveling with pets, and our dog Alaska is always a great conversation starter when we travel, and it can break the ice when meeting folks on the road too. I once heard a saying that I agree with 100%, and that is, all pets are therapy animals. Some are just freelancing. There is something so comforting about having our furry friends with us wherever we go, and maybe after watching this video, you might just feel better equipped for life on the road with your pets. Take care, safe travels, and happy camping.